It is difficult to provide a summary of World War II in a matter of minutes. This long-term war, which consumed many of the world's forces, requires a detailed explanation, which we may come up with in future videos. World War II was the fiercest war in all of human history, a colossal clash between two major powers in the world, the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the Allied powers, England and France, later joined by the Soviet Union and America. Of course, many countries entered this conflict, their number exceedingly more than 30. It is the fiercest war ever and the greatest war in its effects, and we are still living with the effects of World War II. World War II is the off fever within Germany, setting the stage for the rise of the Nazi Party. Adolf Hitler ascended to power in 1933, militarizing the nation and reigniting a nationalist zeal aimed at reclaiming lost dignity and retaliating against the Allies, particularly England and France. Simultaneously, Italy witnessed the emergence of the Fascist Party in 1922 under Mussolini. Sharing a similar nationalist agenda, Italy aimed to restore its dignity, leading to an inevitable alliance with Germany. Together, Germany and Italy formed a formidable alliance, setting the stage for a new chapter in world history. An alliance that would challenge the world and shape the course of events leading to the Second World War. After establishing a vast economic, military, and scientific strength, Hitler initiated a bold policy of expansion. Ignoring the sanctions imposed on Germany, he set his sights on reshaping Europe. In March 1938, a pivotal moment unfolded as Hitler occupied Austria. This act, seen by the world as an attempt to reclaim German prestige, masked Hitler's true intention: to create a global German empire. A year after the occupation of Austria, in March 1939, Hitler occupied parts of Czechoslovakia, and 6 months later, on September 1st, 1939, after an agreement with the Soviet Union to partition Poland, he occupied Poland. The invasion of Poland was a wake-up call. England and France, recognizing the threat of unchecked German expansion, declared war on Germany on September 3rd, 1939. Thus began World War II. The world caught up in this war. The beginnings were very strong for Germany, as we can say that the first 2 years of the war were a sweeping German invasion. Following their declaration of war, England and France promised to assist Poland. Yet, their initial efforts were confined to an economic blockade, aiming to curb Germany's expansion by cutting off vital resources. Iron, crucial for Germany's war machine, travelled from Sweden through Denmark and Norway. In a decisive move, England and France implemented a blockade, an attempt to starve Germany of this essential resource. On April 9, 1940, Denmark capitulated within hours of the German invasion. Norway, too, fell shortly after, marking a period of limited resistance from England and France against the advancing German forces. In England, political unrest reached a tipping point, leading to Chamberlain's resignation. Winston Churchill took the helm on May 10, 1940, a day that coincided with Germany launching a ferocious assault on Western Europe. Dubbed the 7 Weeks Campaign, Germany's onslaught was relentless. Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands were quickly overtaken, culminating in a daring invasion of France itself. Amidst the darkest hours of the conflict, the stage was set for monumental battles, heroic stands, and strategic turning points that would define the course of World War II. As the shadow of war darkened Europe, Norway capitulated on June 10, 1940, succumbing to German control. A mere 3 days after Italy's declaration, Paris fell. The swift collapse of France on June 22nd left the country divided, its northern half under German occupation and the southern half attempting to cling to autonomy. In the face of occupation, Charles de Gaulle emerged as a beacon of resistance, leading a shadow government from abroad. Meanwhile, Britain stood alone against the looming threat of invasion. The Battle of Britain marked a turning point. Britain endured relentless aerial bombardment. London withstood 57 consecutive days of bombing, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of its people and the strength of the Royal Air Force. Simultaneously, the war's reach extended to northern Africa, and with the strategic Suez Canal under British control, Germany dispatched tanks to the desert, opening a new front in this global conflict. On September 27, 1940, Japan formalized its alliance with Germany, a year later into the conflict. Driven by the vast ambitions in the Pacific, Japan's goals clashed with British and French colonial interests, prompting its entry into the Axis Pact. Prior to World War II, Germany and Japan were united against a common adversary: communism. Germany escalated its assault on England, targeting cities nationwide. Despite the relentless bombings from November 1940 to May 1941, the British spirit remained unbroken, showcasing remarkable resilience. By June 1941, the Axis powers had achieved near-total European domination. Yet, on June 22nd, Hitler embarked on a fateful decision that would herald the beginning of the end for the German military. Ignoring a prior pact to divide Poland, Hitler launched an invasion of the Soviet Union, driven by a profound animosity towards communism. This move marked a turning point in the war. The invasion of the Soviet Union, a gamble that would ultimately contribute to the Axis powers' downfall, begins a new chapter in our story. A chapter filled with epic battles, strategic blunders, and the unwavering resolve of nations fighting for their very survival. Stalin received the shocking news of Hitler's invasion with skepticism. On June 22, 1941, Hitler launched an ambitious attack on the Soviet Union, aiming to exploit its vast resources to build a global empire. This bold move compelled the Soviet Union to join forces with the Allies on July 12, 1941. United against a common enemy, the Soviet Union, England, and France formed a formidable front against Germany. In the Pacific, tensions escalated when Japan, pursuing its imperial ambitions, occupied the French Indochina Islands in July 1941. This act prompted the United States to impose a crippling oil embargo on Japan. Facing this embargo, Japan contemplated a decisive strike against the United States, dreaming of an expansive empire in the Pacific. By the winter of 1941, Hitler's forces were on the outskirts of Moscow. However, on December 5th and 6th, the Soviet Union mounted a fierce defense, marking their first significant victory against the German advance. The stage was set for monumental clashes that would stretch from the snowy fields of Russia to the vast expanses of the Pacific. As alliances shifted and battles raged, the world held its breath, witnessing the unfolding of a conflict that would determine the fate of nations. The winter of 1941 marked a critical juncture in World War II. The Soviet Union's defense of Moscow from December 5th to 6th signified the first major defeat for the Germans, subtly shifting the war's balance. On December 7th, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. a decision aimed at neutralizing the American fleet and lifting the oil embargo. This act of aggression spurred the United States into the war. The following day, the United States declared war upon Japan. By December 11th, with Hitler's declaration of war on America, the global alliance was reshaped. The United States and the Soviet Union joined forces with Britain and France, marking a turning point against the Axis powers. Japan's military campaign swiftly expanded its control, capturing Malaysia, Singapore, the Philippines, Indonesia, Burma, and Hong Kong, asserting dominance over the Pacific. On June 4, 1942, the Battle of Midway unfolded, a crucial victory for the Allies. The United States Navy's strategic prowess led to the destruction of several Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and aircraft, significantly weakening Japan's naval power. These pivotal events marked the beginning of the end for the Axis ambitions, as the Allies gained momentum. The battles of Moscow and Midway, along with America's entry into the war, heralded a shift in fortune for the Allied powers. In the aftermath of the Battle of Midway, the United States asserted its dominance over the Pacific. This pivotal conflict marked the beginning of Japan's decline in the region, hailed as one of the fiercest naval battles in history. The Axis powers faced further setbacks. On October 25, 1942, the German forces, under the command of the Desert Fox Rommel, suffered a significant defeat at El Alamein, Egypt, at the hands of the British forces led by Montgomery. Meanwhile, Hitler's siege of Stalingrad marked an ambitious attempt to recover from earlier setbacks. The battle, lasting from September 1942 to February 1943, culminated in a devastating loss for the Germans, with approximately 200,000 soldiers lost. By early 1943, momentum had shifted unmistakably towards the Allies. In July, exploiting the Axis powers' weakening grip, the Allies captured Sicily and initiated a landing in Italy. The fascist regime in Italy crumbled under the weight of internal rebellion and Allied support, leading to Mussolini's arrest. Italy's defection from the Axis and subsequent truce with the Allies marked a significant turning point in the war. In an extraordinary turn of events, Italy declared war on Germany on October 13, 1943, further isolating the Axis powers and bolstering the Allied position. The war took a dramatic turn in Italy, with the Germans freeing Mussolini, leading to a divided Italy, one allied with the Axis and the other with the Allies. Simultaneously, the Soviet Union launched a decisive counterattack, reclaiming Eastern Europe and advancing towards Germany, shifting the balance of power on the Eastern Front. On June 4, 1944, Allies entered Rome, marking a significant victory. 2 days later, they executed the most renowned operation of the war, the Normandy landings, initiating the liberation of Western Europe. By August, Paris was liberated. The Allies swiftly moved to free the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, dismantling German control in the West. In the Pacific, America recaptured the Philippines in October 1944 and began the process of reclaiming territories and islands from Japanese control. Despite these Allied advances, the Germans managed a temporary victory in December 1944 during the Battle of the Bulge, a testament to the war's unpredictable nature. These pivotal moments set the stage for the final chapters of World War II. The Allies, now closing in from all directions, were on the brink of ending the most devastating conflict in human history. In the early months of 1945, as the war raged on, the Big Three, Stalin from the Soviet Union, Roosevelt from the United States, and Churchill from Great Britain, convened at the Yalta Conference. Their objective? To shape a post-war world and hasten the end of conflict. With Germany yet to surrender, the Allies resolved to deliver a decisive blow. Dresden, a strategic German city, was targeted in what would become one of the most intense air bombardments in history. Over 1,200 planes unleashed their fury, resulting in approximately 35,000 casualties. This devastating attack on Dresden was a stark message to Germany. The war's conclusion was inevitable, and surrender was the only course of action. The decisions made at Yalta and the tragic fate of Dresden highlighted the Allies' determination to conclude the war. These pivotal events underscored the complexity of wartime decisions and the profound cost of conflict. In the spring of 1945, the war's destructive power reached new heights. On March 9th and 10th, Tokyo witnessed unfathomable tragedy, with 100,000 civilians perishing in flames. Across Japan, American bombing campaigns claimed 350,000 lives, laying bare the harrowing cost of war. By March, the Allies, having liberated France, crossed the Rhine River, pressing into the heart of Germany itself. In April, the Russians made their decisive entry into Berlin, signaling the endgame for Nazi Germany. The Soviet Union and the Allied forces converged in the fallen city, marking the collapse of Hitler's regime. Amidst the chaos, Mussolini was captured and executed by Italian partisans on April 28th. This act foreshadowed the fate of Adolf Hitler, who, confronted with the inevitability of defeat, took his own life on April 30th. Germany's surrender on May 7, 1945, brought the European chapter of World War II to a close. May 8th is celebrated as Victory in Europe Day, a moment of triumph over tyranny. Despite the end of conflict in Europe, war raged on in the Pacific. On July 8, 1945, the Soviet Union declared war upon Japan, engaging in several battles that would ultimately free China from years of Japanese occupation. The Potsdam Conference, convened from July 15th to August 2nd, set the stage for the division of Germany and issued a stern ultimatum to Japan: surrender or face total destruction. Japan's refusal to surrender led to a fateful decision. On August 6th and 9th, America dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ushering in a new era of warfare and compelling Japan to announce its surrender on August 14th, 1945, thus bringing World War II to a close. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, ended not with triumph, but with a solemn reflection on the cost of war. It reshaped the world, leading to the establishment of the United Nations and setting the foundation for a lasting peace. As we remember the sacrifices of those who lived, fought, and died in World War II, let us commit to the principles of peace, unity, and understanding that they fought for. Explore the stories, visit memorials, and engage with history to honor their legacy. Join us in our ongoing journey to explore the depths of history, understanding its lessons, and celebrating the resilience of the human spirit. Subscribe to our channel, Historical Corridors, for more insightful journeys through the past. Thank you for joining us on this profound journey through World War II. Stay tuned for more stories that shaped our world.